Okay, welcome to another episode of The Scoop podcast with AMG, All Madden Gaming. I'm your host, Serp. It is January 25th, 2021, and we are in week 10. Actually, week 10, and someone just updated Daddy Leagues for me. Thank you very much, whoever did that. So we got the up-to-date info. Again, this week, we're going to be going over stats. Standings for sure. Always do standings first. Let everybody know where everybody's at. You know, how the divisions are looking like. If there's any change to maybe who I think might take the AFC, NFC conference, etc. You know, some of the players to watch, stat leaders. I will be doing that. I'll also be doing another segment of the trade talk. Last week, remember, every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, podcast drops. And last week we did the Marcus Davenport trade from the Saints to the Ravens for a first this draft and a second round pick next draft. And I said the Ravens absolutely won that, and Davenport has been amazing. So they absolutely got more bang for their buck, and I think they trapped the Saints a little bit on that one. So anyway, we'll be doing that, and we'll also be talking about another hot team. I just want to do one more segment of that. Probably not too many. I think I'm going to free that last part up for some new kind of segments every week, so we don't get stale here. But I still want to do it one more time for another team that was, is doing amazing. There's 4 or 5 that I could think of off the top of my head that I'd really like to talk about. But we did the Panthers last Monday podcast, and we'll be doing another team for this one. So I just came from the gym, so I still got the pre-workout pounding through me, so we'll see if I can not trip over my words here, but it'll definitely be a rocking and rolling podcast. So let's go down to some info here, and of course I'm always going to go through the standings first. This is just a schedule for the week. As you can see, we're halfway through week 10. Actually, let me update that a little bit because somebody just refreshed it. So let me take just a second while that works in, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 7 games left, mine included, against the Bills. I know we have a game going on right now. The Saints and the 49ers are actually playing right now. In any event, so let's go to the standings again, as we always do to start out with. We'll start with the AFC again. AFC East. That's getting a little spicy. Okay. Before the New England Patriots, that's the C4. We're far above the game, and they were almost favored to take the AFC East, in my opinion. But as you can see, things change. I mean, we go through quite a few weeks during this. I think it was week 6 or 7 last podcast. I mean, we're already in 10, almost 11. So we're flying, and we're gonna get a pretty clear picture of the divisions and the playoff teams here pretty soon. But the New York Jets back up 6-4, and the Patriots 6-3. So the Jets are coming. I'm telling you right now. I mean, the Patriots did well the first half of this season, and it seems like they're still doing well. I mean, 6-3, but those New York Jets, they're coming. They're coming, and I'd have to say they're going to take that AFC East, and they're going to take over the Patriots. They found the rhythm. They got it going. They're gonna climb. Patriots, maybe sneak in there with a wild card still, but I think the Jets are gonna take that one. The Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins, they're not really, you know what I'm saying. They're here, but that's about it. AFC West, Denver Broncos flying, slamming it, 8-1, insane. AFC West locked in. I could say that right now. 8-1. There's no way. They're cruising. They're actually number 3 in the power rankings right now as well. Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers, hey, they're not out of it. They get a good run here the back half of the season, and I don't know if they play the Broncos again or if they've played them twice already or what, but I'd imagine they probably still play them one more time. So, I mean, if they can beat the Broncos or if they can have a good back half of the season, I'm not going to count the Chiefs and the Chargers out, but I mean, the Broncos are favored, that's for sure. The Raiders are SHIT in the bed. That's okay. 1-8. AFC North, Baltimore Ravens. There's another team that's just rolling. They're just rolling. There's no stopping Lamar Jackson. It's gone. He's gone. 8-1. The Ravens are going to take the North. Steelers, Bengals, Browns. You know, all of those teams that are 5 and something, even 4 and something at this point, still got a chance to maybe do something, get a wild card in there or something. But you know, it's the opportunities are slipping, and the chances of that happening are kind of falling for every loss. I mean, you're not going to be able to lose very many more and have that happen. I mean, there's only 7 games left. I mean, you know, well, I guess there's still a pretty good chance. I mean, even if you're 4 something right now and you win out, I mean, 11 wins, you're in the playoffs. So, you know, they're not out, but definitely looks like so far Jets, Broncos, Ravens, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. I like the Colts. I think the Colts have a chance to come back and do something here. But the Titans are, you know, they've got a 2-game lead, which again, you know, halfway through week 10 isn't, you know, it's not locking anything in, but I'd say the Colts or the Titans right there. I'm not going to, you know, I could give a solid Jets, a solid Broncos, a solid Ravens, and if they didn't get it, I wouldn't feel bad about that choice. But the Titans and the Colts, I can't pick either one right now. The Jaguars, they're not ready yet, and the Texans are not quite SHIT in the bed, but you know, they're maybe they urinated in the bed or something like that. They're not doing the hottest. So that is the AFC picture. Who do I think that's going to take the AFC conference? Still with the Ravens. Still haven't changed. Ravens they would beat the Broncos out. They would beat the Broncos out if they had to face them in the divisional rounds. You know, so I would say Ravens take it. So heading on over to the NFC conference, we've got the NFC East, which is just the NFC least for real. Philadelphia Eagles, 3-5. Giants 3-6, Cowboys 3-6, Washington Football 2-7. So I predict somebody with a losing record is going to get into the playoffs for the NFC East. There's going to be a losing record that's going to make it into the playoffs, and it's going to come out of the East. I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, I've played the Cowboys. I don't think they're yet. The Giants are all right. The Eagles, I don't know. I have really, they weren't on my radar until now, actually. Now that I see they're one of the ties for the lead. So Giants, Eagles, you know, whatever. One of those two. Washington Football Team, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. They're not ready yet either. NFC West, there's me in my division here. So the Rams, they're flying through. I don't know, you know. I mean, they're definitely probably going to win the division unless something just catastrophe happens. But they're going to take that. Me and the Seahawks are going to fight each other for nothing, just to see who can be not just barely not make the wild card, I think is what we're going to do. And then the Niners, they're not quite ready yet. So 7-1, 5-3, 5-3, 3-6. Packers and Lions. Packers are doing really well, but the Lions, the same. The NFC North reminds me of the AFC East. The AFC East and the NFC North are the same division. All right, you got the Packers and the Lions, the Patriots and the Jets, all doing kind of the same thing. The Jets are coming up. They're going to overtake the Patriots. The Lions are coming up. They're going to overtake the Packers. That's what I think. And then the Vikings and the Bears are just there like the Bills and the Dolphins. They're all kind of, you know, Vikings, Bears, Bills, Dolphins are all kind of swimming around in a little kiddie pool full of not goodness. You know, the NFC South, Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is my most interesting division that I like to look at, just because, and the Buccaneers are in there too, and they're not playing around either. The Panthers, the Falcons, they slip up. I mean, these Buccaneers, these greasy little Buccaneers, they could come in and take something over. But, you know, Panthers, Falcons are the favorite to do it. I don't know. I've seen some games where I'd say, wait, the Panthers are going to take this. And then I see some games where it's like, no, the Falcons got this. So I can't, that's another one, just like the AFC South, that I can't, both of the South divisions, I can't tell you. It's going to be Panthers, Falcons, or Colts or Titans, one of the two. So, you know, NFC East, I don't know, Giants or Eagles. West, Rams, I don't know, maybe the Seahawks or the Cardinals. It's pretty shallow, though, the Seahawks and Cardinals. So probably the Rams, Lions, and I couldn't say Panthers or Falcons right now. I think the Lions take the conference in the end. Cinderella story. And the Ravens. So the Ravens and the Lions are still who I see in the Super Bowl. So that is the standings. So let's run over and see if we got any changes as far as offensive leaders, defensive leaders goes. We kind of go over those a little bit. Sam Darnold, again, like I said, New York Jets coming up to take over the Patriots. Look, now he's up on top already. 3,266 yards and 34 touchdowns. And we're going to go over that just a little bit. I want to see how many interceptions are involved in that. I doubt very many. Teddy Bridgewater. Good old noodle arm Teddy. You know, he's not much more strength in that arm anymore, but still 3,213 yards, 25 touchdowns. Number 2 in the league. Granted, some teams haven't played yet, so I mean, these may have been changed, but still pretty accurate, I'd say. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, 2,877, 23 touchdowns. I think there's some more interceptions there, though, than any of the other teams that are up here. Baker Mayfield, 2,790 yards, 27 touchdowns. Tyree Jackson, 25 touchdowns, kind of closing out the bottom of the top 5 there. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor, insane. 1,300 yards almost, not even out of week 10. We're going to set a record here, or at least an MVP run, offensive player of the year, definitely running back of the year. 7.7 average, 15 touchdowns. Cam Akers rolling. That is one of the reasons why the Los Angeles Rams are number 1 in the division right now. First of all, their defense is great, and their offense is just methodical and gets what it needs. Cam Akers is a big part of that. Almost 1,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. Then you got some familiar names here: Derrick Henry, Phillip Lindsay, and Dalvin Cook. All really close to all tied for 3rd almost as far as rushing goes. Receiving, Antonio Brown, already over 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns. 1,000 yards, 51 receptions, only 4 touchdowns. So he's the workhorse, but not really the red zone guy. Jeff Smith, which is for the he's for the Jets, for the Jets, and wow, 195 pounds, 6'1", 23 years old, out of Boston College. I mean, this guy is going to be something special if he can keep catching like that. So Denzel Mims, another Jet. As you can see, the Jets are coming. I mean, they're coming. They got Jeff Smith, Denzel Mims, both with almost 1,000 yards, both with over double-digit touchdowns. I mean, and then you got Robbie Anderson, you got Mike Evans, some more familiar names kind of rounding up the bottom of the top 5 there for offense. So there's some offensive leaders as daddyleagues.com/AMG gives us all those wonderful stats, keeps tracks of that. Defensive leaders, Noah Dawkins, 37 tackles. He's all over the place. 1 forced fumble and interception. Logan Wilson, 36 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions. Patrick Queen, 36 tackles, 2 sacks. Jordan Brooks, 31 tackles, 1 forced fumble and interception. Ashton Davis, 3 interceptions and a tackle. And 29 tackles. Lorenzo Carter, sacks. Lorenzo Carter, 8 sacks, 16 tackles, forced fumble. Aaron Donald, monster. Aaron Donald, Lorenzo Carter, Brian Burns, monsters. 16 tackles for Carter, 10 for Donald and Burns. 1 forced fumble for Carter, 3 for Donald. So that's, another reason why the Rams are banging on defense. Donald is just beating everybody up. Brian Burns, 1 forced fumble. Preston Smith, 7 sacks, 17 tackles, forced fumble. And Daniel Hunter, 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So a lot of, I can guarantee that you could go on and there's probably a bunch more players with 7 sacks, 6 sacks, etc. But these ones kind of stand out as far as the tackles and the forced fumbles that go along with it. Interceptions, we got Denzel Ward with 9. Tackles 19, Malcolm Butler 9 interceptions, tackles 13, Jeremy Chin, another familiar name there, 9 interceptions, 21 tackles, and a forced fumble. Troy Apke, 7 interceptions, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and a Deshaun Elliott, 7 interceptions. So there's some of the defensive leaders as far as Daddy Leagues would keep track of the stats for us there. I'm going to actually switch over now, and I'd like to look at some of the injuries. That's another thing that I started on the last podcast, or maybe even the one beforehand, just because it says a lot about how well a team's going to do, or what might happen to them in the future. Just because injuries, Aaron Donald, if he was out, or think of it, or Denzel Mims for the Jets, or so let's head over there. So injuries, Bears, none. Good for you. Bengals, left tackle, pretty good guy. Really young, 22 years old. only out for 3 weeks, but still, I mean, we're already in halfway through week 10, so 3 weeks is a pretty long time. And that's the left tackle. I mean, that's the guy that's taking care of the pass rush for the most part. That's who's protecting the blind side of your quarterback. So, that's not good. I guarantee that was probably their starter. Is that going to affect the Bengals? I don't think they're really in contention for much right now anyway, as far as they don't stick out in my mind. So, yeah, I mean, it'll probably affect them a little bit. I mean, as far as having to get the ball out a little quicker or maybe run into that side. But I don't think it's going to be super detrimental, especially since they're not really looking at a playoff spot this year anyway. Bills, nothing. Broncos, no. Browns, oh my. Another pretty decent right tackle. Conklin is pretty decent, 26 years old, and he's out for 5 with a torn labrum. Not good. I guarantee that's gonna play a little part of them too. But again, just like the Bengals, it's probably not really that much of a, really not that much going on to them. And then when they've got Phillips, abdominal tear. Jacob Phillips, abdominal tear, 1 week. He's coming back anyway, so nothing really to talk about there. Buccaneers, Ali Marpet. Oh my God, yeah, that's their man. Out for 4 with a torn labrum. That is a good guard. That is a big hit to the offensive line. And then Godwin's out on top of that with knee cartilage tear for 2 weeks. So the Buccaneers, I mean, now I kind of, and this is why I like to do the injuries, because again, like I said, they were kind of close. If one of the other top 2 teams in that division would mess up, the Buccaneers might be able to come up. But with this, I mean, God, geez, is that going to affect them in the next upcoming couple of games? I mean, definitely not having Godwin is gonna. And not having Marpet could affect the run game, some of the pulls and even some pass protection. That's a big hit. That's a good guard, and that's a really good wide receiver. So the Buccaneers are hurting a little bit for there. So far as injuries goes, they've got the worst. Cardinals, that's me. He's on injured reserve. We don't really care about him. He was I'm sorry, that's the Cardinals defensive tackle, Corey Peters. Yeah, he's out. He's on injured reserve, so he's not even a starter. I think he was 2nd or 3rd string, so not a big deal there. Chiefs, Asmar Bilal, nah, doesn't really matter. Cowboys, older center, Joe Looney, and kind of a 3rd or 4th string middle linebacker, Francis Bernard. Nothing really happening there. Decent younger guy, defensive tackle for the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins aren't really doing very well anyway. It may impact their defensive line a little bit, but I don't think it's going to do too much anyway as far as affecting their season. It's not really going very well right now anyway. Falcons, Laquan Treadwell. No, he's on injured reserve, so they really must not gave too much consideration to his injury. 49ers, George Kittle. I mean, that hurts. That definitely hurts. That's their guy. That's the go-to guy. That guy is insane. He's out for 2 more weeks yet with a dislocated ankle, and they're playing the Saints right now as we talk. So that's definitely going to affect that game, and I expect them to lose that game. And that's probably a big part of why. The Giants, Spencer Pulley, center, Montreal Minder, right outside linebacker. Nah, they don't really affect too much. One's on injured reserve, and the other one is a probably 2nd, 3rd, 4th string guy. Jaguars, no. Jets, John Franklin Myers. He's actually a pretty good young end. He's out with a torn labrum for 5. So that's going to kind of hurt just for the fact that it might not impact them. I don't think it's going to impact them as far as wins or losses, but definitely in the future maybe, because, I mean, he's out for 5, and this is a great young guy and a good athletic end. And he's going to miss out on damn near the rest of the season as far as developing himself and experience and all of that stuff. So, I mean, that kind of hurts in that aspect. The Lions, no. Packers, Zadarius Smith out for 3, dislocated elbow. That's a big defender. That's a big defensive player out right there. That's their rusher. That's got to be one of their rushing ends. And Rashawn Gary out. 2 more weeks yet. Oh my Lord. Yeah, not good. So their defense, the Packers defense, and again, they're pretty close. I mean, they've got a chance. They're above right now with the Lions coming up behind them, and this is one of the things that's going to help actually not help them, but help take them down the list and help the Lions come up to the top. So that's big hit right there. Panthers, Brian Burns, yeah, really, really, really good defensive end. He's out for 3. That's going to affect their defense. Patriots, no. Raiders, yeah, the right guard is good. A little older. It's probably, I don't know if they're going to re-sign him or not. He's out for 4. That's definitely going to affect their offensive line. But they've been doing kind of doo-doo as far as gameplay with the offense anyway. Max Crosby comes back. Really good young guy. I'm not sure. Is he a rookie? A 1-year guy. Dislocated hip, but he's coming back. That's good for them. They need to develop him, get him in the game more, and hopefully next season comes back with some more pressure on the opposing offenses. Rams, Chandler Brewer, no, not going to affect them at all. Not even a starter. Gary Jennings, torn labrum, not a big deal for the Ravens. The Saints, Eric McCoy. Oh, man, that's a good center right there. Out for 6. He's out for almost the rest of the season, and that is a great younger center that you'd really like to develop, and you hate to see them go out for that long. And another one, Cesar Ruiz, broken ribs. He'll be back, though, so not that big of a deal. Seahawks, no. Steelers, no. Texans, no. Titans, right guard, yeah. Another young guy, somebody that you'd like to have in there, like to develop, like to see. And that's about it for that. That's about it for the injuries there. So then moving on to the last 2 segments here, we've got the trade talk, which I'm going to be talking about. Let's see here. I just got an update on the trade. It was actually a trade from the Jets to the Saints. It was wide receiver Brashad Perryman. Let me get the... I had him in front of me a second ago. Apologize for that. It was... So the trade was Perryman went to the Saints and the Jets' future second-round pick for the Saints first. Okay? So let's go back here really quick. I want to look at the Saints again just to kind of see where they are. So the Saints. Where are you? New Orleans Saints are at 4-4, which means they are not going to. They're not a contender for the division or anything like that. So the Saints' first-round pick at 4-4, I don't know. They're not playing really that bad. So I mean, by the end of the season, I mean, if I looked at their schedule, you know. I wonder how many wins they would get. Let's go in, just since we're actually getting in the trade talk segment, let's go in, and I just want to take a look at what the Saints' schedule looks like and to see if they're going to win or lose those games, because I mean that's going to determine my take on the trade. You know, what is this first round pick going to be worth? So let's go to schedule, team schedule. Let's go look at the Saints and see where they're at now. So the Saints, they play the 49ers right now, which I expect them to win. So that's lowering the stock of that first round pick. The Falcons are going to lose. The Broncos are going to lose. The Falcons are going to lose. The Eagles are going to lose. The Chiefs, they're going to probably lose. Vikings, they'll win. Panthers, they'll lose. So they're going to be probably 6-10, 7-9 at the most, which would make that first round pick probably somewhere in the 15, 17, 18 range, maybe. So, you know, good first round pick. A good first round pick. Definitely the Jets are going to capitalize on it. The Jets really don't need. I mean, they have a lot of young, sneaky talent, athletic guys that may not be the best, but they're definitely developable, and they're good players. So, I mean, with a number 15, 16, 17 round of the first round, that's going to help them out a lot. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good round, a pretty good first round pick for the Jets. I mean, that's pretty good. And they gave them Perryman and their future second. So the Jets' future second, there's no even question. The Jets' future second is Garbo, in my opinion. It's an early third at best, and by that time, you're not. I mean, you're going to get maybe, if you're really, really lucky, a young starter, possibly, that really needs to be developed, or you're going to get a good second. You're going to get some depth. You're going to get a good young guy that you could probably develop, but is going to just be depth for the most part. So, you know, I don't even count that as anything. So really, it was the Saints first for Perryman to me. I mean, the second's nice. It gives you something. I guess I wouldn't count it out completely as if it was a third or something. If it was the third from the Jets, I wouldn't even count it. But the second, okay, it's something, but it's meh to me, because some teams don't draft very well. I mean, if you don't have a first or a somewhat of an early to mid second, it's garbage. But let's go look at Perryman's production now. So what has Perryman got as far as production goes? That's what we really need to look at to see, was it worth it? It may have been. I mean, if Perryman's a young, really fast guy, I know that before I even look. So let's go to statistics, player stats. Let's go Saints, and see what they have done with Brashad Perryman. So he's definitely leading the team. Okay, so they put him to use. He's got 9 touchdowns, which is great. He's got almost 900 yards. He's averaging 109.5 a game. 9 touchdowns. Pretty decent rack average. He's definitely a good guy. I mean, he's super fast, super agile, 6'2". He's already 26 years old. I thought he was younger than that. So, 26 years old for a first out of UCF. Oh man, 215 pounds, 6'2". For the 15th round, let's say for the first round, 16th through maybe the 19th pick or something like that. I'm just kind of guessing. For 26 years old, wide receiver, super. I mean, his speed is absolutely crazy. Does have a problem with dropping passes. Doesn't have the sure hands, 100% that you'd really like. Oh man, I don't know. I can't see it. I think he's great. I think they're doing really well with him. I think it's good for the team. I mean, what would they have drafted anyway? Would they have went after a wide receiver? Let's say that the Saints went after a wide receiver in the first round with their pick, number 15, 16. Would they have got somebody better? No, I don't think so. Maybe younger. They would have got somebody maybe the same caliber, that could have maybe been developed at a little faster rate. So they could have got somebody younger that would have been better faster than Brashad Perryman's going to be able to do, I think. But I don't think it's bad. I would say the Jets may have won that trade just because they didn't need him and they got a first out of it. So they're really going to put some pieces together. Who else do the Saints have around them? I just got to refresh my memory here really quick. Before I give a final answer, let's look at the Saints depth chart and see who they got starting at wide receiver around them. I have idea of some, but I just want to be sure. So I got Drew Brees throwing to him, so that's all right. So they got Michael Thomas. They got Emmanuel Sanders. He's going to be gone. He's not going to be around too much longer. That's for sure. Michael Thomas is going to be amazing forever. So they got it. I mean, that's, Brashad Perryman's going to be their number 2 guy next year. Unless they draft another wide receiver to take Sanders' place. But I bet you Brashad Perryman moves up to number 2. So they needed him. All right. They were going to have to draft most likely a wide receiver anyway. So you know what? I'm going to say it's even. The Jets got rid of somebody they didn't need, and they got a freaking mid-round first at worst. And the Saints got a comparable wide receiver to the pick they would have had anyway. It's kind of like they just traded the stuff they needed, So I would say that's a pretty even trade. So that's my take on that one. And then we're just going to move into the last part, which is going to be the who's hot. And last week we did the Carolina Panthers. This week, I want to go into their nemesis in the division, the Atlanta Falcons, because they are doing amazing, just neck and neck with the Panthers. And it's going to be one of them. And I'm excited to watch that division. I keep a close tab on the AMG Insiders and what info they give out of everything, but they're going to be pretty good. So let's. I just want to go take a look at first of all the depth chart and who they're got starting at the positions. Just some of the main positions. We're not going to go into every one, but I just want to see who they got. I mean, they definitely got Tyree Jackson, who's been doing amazing, doing really well. Let's take a look at. It's not going to let me do that. Let's go into. Actually, because I want to see Tyree Jackson's. Well, we'll go look at that in a second. But anyway, Tyree Jackson, I want to look at his statistics, but we're going to look at that in a second after we go through the depth chart. They've got Ronald Jones and Todd Gurley, both. So they got Ronald Jones starting over Gurley. It must be doing them all right. I'd also like to kind of look at his stats as well. Not bad. A decent young, athletic, speedy, somewhat speedy halfback. Then we've got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Marquise Goodwin. I mean, oh my Lord. Dude, it's just insane. Look at the speed on that offense. I mean, it's just insane. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, they're just eating. And then you got Goodwin in the slot just backing him up and the guy's lightning. So that's just insane. That's crazy. OJ Howard, definitely a decent, solid tight end. Their line, Jake Matthews, good. I got a rookie, Matt Hennessy. Looks like he's doing pretty well though at the left guard position. Alex Mack is the center is solid. Chris Lindstrom, solid right guard. Another 1-year guy, Caleb McGarry at the right tackle, solid. I mean, their offensive line is good. And in this league right now, having a good offensive line is great. They've got Marlon Davidson, the rookie, at left end. He's all right. Definitely developable. We got John Kaminsky at the right end. They definitely need their ends. I mean, I don't know how good Marlon Davidson's doing, but he definitely could up that a little bit. John Kaminsky, they're definitely going to be looking at an end, I would say, this year for the draft. Grady Jarrett, definitely a solid defensive tackle. Linebackers, Deion Jones for the middle's not bad. I'm not even going to do that name, but not bad on the outside there. Definitely a young guy that's going to be with them for quite some time. Isaiah. So their defenses their secondary. I guess they're there's some younger guys. Isaiah Oliver, AJ Terrell Jr. They could be developed. They're going to be really good. I think they're going to be just fine. They might need a season or two. And even Sheffield. I guess they're all right. They're all right in the secondary. They're young. They're super young, which is great. Which is what you'd like to see because you can develop these guys. Demonte Kazi. Solid guy. You'd like to see a little bit more speed at that position. Ricardo Allen at strong safety, solid. They've got just an all-around solid squad. So I'd like to go back then. I just want to look at some of the statistics for them, for the Falcons, just to see what they've got, what they're putting up here. Falcons, passing. So Tyree Jackson, 25 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 126.9 rating, great. 73% completions, great. 2,667 yards, great. Averaging almost 300 yards per game, amazing. The interceptions you'd like to see a little bit lower, but all around Tyree Jackson is having a great year for a rookie. This guy, a rookie at that's great. This guy is gonna be the head of this team for the rest of it. Throughout, no question about that. Rushing, Ronald Jones, averaging 4.8, 8 touchdowns. 116 attempts as opposed to 191. So yeah, he's in there. It's about a third of the time, So he's put in the work. I mean, 4.8 isn't bad. I mean, if you're getting 4.8 every time, I mean, it's not terrible. Damn near a first down every two rushes. I mean, theoretically. Only fumbled one time throughout the whole thing. Gurley got no touches, so they're not even splitting carries with them. It's the Ronald Jones show at halfback position there in Atlanta. Receiving, Calvin Ridley tearing it up, destroying. 8 touchdowns, 854 yards, almost 100 yards a game average. And then you got Julio Jones, of course, right below him, 4 touchdowns, 580 yards, and Goodwin, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, just 1, 2, 3, bing, bing, bing. And then OJ Howard's kind of doing his thing a little bit, got 3 touchdowns. Wow, who is this? Hayden Hurst. Oh, Hayden Hurst, okay. 7 touchdowns, Hayden Hurst. Watch out for that guy. Not that many attempts, but it looks like he's just where he needs to be. Keep an eye on Hayden Hurst if you're watching a Falcons game, because he's got 7 touchdowns already. Okay, he's got 10 receptions. All right, and 70% of those are touchdowns. So, I'd be looking at him. If they're in the red zone, watch Hayden Hurst. We're not going to go into the offensive line statistics very much, but we definitely got defense. Marlon Davidson, that rookie end. Okay, he's got 4 sacks already. I mean, not the best. I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more production, but that's good for a rookie. 2 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, and then the rest of the defense is doing all right. How do we got as far as interceptions? Interceptions, Isaiah Oliver, Ricardo Allen. Okay, so Allen does well. Kazzy's got 2. I think if Kazzy was a bit more, quicker, more athletic, a bit more speed, I think that might be able to throw up a little bit better stats than he's got there, but not bad. So, that's it for this podcast. I mean, it's been 36 minutes already, so it's even longer than the other ones. That is where I'm going to leave you, and thank you all for listening and or watching. This has been Serp with All Madden Gaming's The Scoop podcast, and we'll talk at you later.